Hey again, everybody. Jay LaValle presenting Cliff Keen technique with COVID. My partner today, we're covering underhooks. So you'll see a series of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different attacks here from an underhook, which is a nice control mechanism. Okay, the first one here is just getting to an underhook from a good hard collar and then running to the underhook side. So pretty simple. We're gonna get to a good hard collar, and I'll step one, and then my second step is gonna be my back leg, and I'm throwing my underhook really hard. In the process, I'm trying to pull his head into my chest right here. 1, 2, all right, I got that underhook. Now I can slide my hand down to here, get my head position, or let him have that head position. On this particular one, we're gonna do a post double on that far side. So I'll let him slide in that head position. 1, 2, I get his head in my chest. I let him slide up and give him that head position. I'll slide to that inside tie. And now my elbow is up here. You can see that my elbow is up. I'm ready to attack. And I got a nice little angle. I'm gonna post, lower my level, and then get to those legs and run them down. Same thing, I'm gonna get to that underhook with a 1-2 punch, hard collar, hard step to that underhook side. This time I'm gonna throw that thing by. I'll get a second hard pull here. 1, 2, and I'll pull his head down when he pops, and I'll push in when he pops up. I take a big step to the side, and then throw this underhook over, and I wanna catch that leg. Sometimes I can take my knee, turn here, 1, 2, I pull, and when I'm ready to go, sometimes I can take my knee and collapse that leg, but all I really want to do is catch that leg. 1, 2, and then throw it by, catch it, catch it, catch it. All right, this is a high C getting from that underhook. We're gonna capture that underhook again from a 1-2 punch. 1, 2, and I pull that head down. When he pops up, that's when I'm gonna take my elbow, bump this arm up, and then my entry, just like a normal high C, I get tight. I get my shoulder tight in his belly, and I get in high C, and I turn that corner, drive across. I can capture that underhook is after I take a single leg, he either pulls me up to a underhook or a seatbelt position from that single leg, or I put myself there because I feel like I can't either finish that leg, I lose confidence there and I need to come up and recover, or I just end up feeling really comfortable, and that's where I like to be. So we'll take a normal single leg, we sweep that corner, maybe he sprawls, I come up now, and I capture that underhook here, or seatbelt. On this one, I want to have my elbow up, but I want to have my hand controlling the shoulder, because really what I want to do, I want to start pulling him down. I want to pull him down. I'm going to retreat that front foot. He's got head position because I'm looking for a single on the other side. I pull him down, and now I release the underhook hand, and I go over the top of the head right here. I don't capture the front headlock. I just go over the top of that head so I can start running my feet and get to this side on the single. Now on this side, any finish you want, we'll just take him down to the mat with our shoulder pressure here and run him down. This one's always a favorite of mine. Shooting that single, we come up to an underhook or a seatbelt position, and this time he creates a lot of pocket of space. He's backing his hips out. He's circling away from my underhook, which gives me the opportunity to put my hips through and take him through on a hip toss. So again, we'll get to that single, we'll shoot in, he sprawls back or he pulls me up to this position. He gets head position on the way up. And now, if he's backing his hips out and he's circling this way, I cut him off, I step through, I back step my feet through, and I suck everything in and pop my hips. We're going to take our single leg, we're going to come up to an underhook or seatbelt position, and this time he stands in front. We get him moving a little bit with head position. This time I want to take my foot and sweep him through, suck that underhook down. So mechanically it looks like this. I take my single, I get in, I come up. This time I capture head position. All right, so when I get my head position, I control the hook. I don't want to be on a seatbelt this time. I control the hook here on his shoulder. I capture his wrist on the far side. Now, if I can get enough pressure to transfer the weight on that far foot, it makes that foot nice and light, which allows me to suck my underhook. I want my opponent to land right there, suck that foot behind, and take him through right there. other way I can get to my underhook is by ripping a collar tie off me, rolling the wrist down and outside the body, and then step into an underhook. So it's gonna look like this. He's got a collar tie, I capture the arm, the wrist, I roll it down and away, and now I step to the underhook. Now, if this guy wants to circle away from me, that's great. I'm looking for an inside trip on the other side. I generally like to capture a wrist. If I have an underhook, I like to capture the wrist. It doesn't really matter where my head is, because depending on where my head is or where his head is, that's gonna generate the offense. So on this particular one, on an inside trip, I actually wanna pull him down to a front headlock here. I pull him down to a front headlock. When he pops up, I'm gonna let him pop and my arm just naturally slides down to that overhook side, and I'll get my feet set and I'm gonna step in. So again, collar tie, I roll his wrist, I capture that underhook, I get my hips in nice and tight. He doesn't like it. He starts backing away, which is a good opportunity to suck him down to a front headlock. He pops up, and now when he pops up, my forearm exchanges to that overhook, and I get that step with my feet, and I get in nice and tight, roll right down the body. Sticking with that wrist roll to that underhook, we're gonna go to a Uchi Mata. It's known as an Uchi Mata in judo. This is when my inside trip does not work, and I take him on the other side of his body towards my underhook. So again, he's got a collar tie. I roll the wrist down. I step in, capture that underhook. I pull his head down to set up the inside trip, and he pops up, and I get to here. Now when he does, he's being stubborn, he's holding me up. Now I pull everything in nice and tight. And I start hopping. I elevate the overhook side, and I start hopping, and I start looking away from this guy. 1, 2, 3, boom. All right, sticking with that wrist roll to that underhook. This time he steps out of the Uchi Mata and he steps out of the inside trip. So I'm looking for a Polish. I'm gonna re-step around the guy. Rolling the wrist down, capturing that underhook. I pull him down. I get to that overhook side. I try and step in. This time it's not there. He backs all the way out. Now, turn. He backs out. Now I'm gonna re-step. As I start running in, he's not there. I'm gonna step here, and I'm gonna start falling. I step here, I'm gonna start falling to my hip. I can get some amplitude out of this. In fact, you probably should. You don't wanna sort of land and start sagging, and then he just steps outside of you. So when I get to here, and I take that step, I'm gonna get some amplitude, start falling back, and take him through. Another way I can capture that underhook is when I'm defending his single leg shot. So he's taking a single leg shot, I down block, and then I immediately go to that underhook. Now, I don't pause here, I don't hesitate. I'm pretty loaded once I get to here. So I'm looking, when he squares, when he recovers from that single leg position, I capture this underhook. I'm looking to just drive right through. I gotta clear that arm, I gotta drive across, my outside knee hits, and now everything comes in really tight. I punch this through, and I drive through my knees. Capturing that underhook again, defending that single leg. This time, he maybe not square up really hard. He stands up right in front of me, but it creates a modified ankle pick. This is a knee pick where I just block the knee and run my hips straight across his body. So again, I defend that single leg. I down block, I capture the underhook. Now right away, he doesn't circle real hard, but my front leg is loaded. I don't want to start stepping across this way so then he gets an underhook and he can throw me, and he's got all this space here. So when I get to here, I get my elbow in tight with that far arm. I step with my front foot, my inside foot, and I block the knee and just start running across his body. Now this leg can start coming to the front. Another common way to get to an underhook is from their collar tie. So let me start on this side. He's got a collar tie here. I can do one or two things. I can bump it out with my opposite hand and then shoot my underhook, or I can take a hard step into him, turn my head. He's gonna get head position here, but it gives me the underhook. I got my elbow up. I got my hand controlling that shoulder. Now on this one, I already have the head position. He starts backing away. I'm leaning pretty heavy here actually. My right foot's forward. When he starts circling and circling, I'm just gonna really drop down to both knees. I wanna scoop this leg. This is a Metzger, called a Metzger. I wanna scoop that leg. When he's circling hard, I'm leaning forward. He doesn't like it. There's a lot of space, so I gotta cover that space with my hips. I get in here, and now I take him through. I can either stand, there's a lot of finishes depending on how he reacts. Sometimes he'll just fall over this way. Other times I can lift him up and take him straight to his back. Generating some more offense from that collar tie, capturing that underhook there. He's got a collar tie. I step to it, and now I'm going to take another step behind and snap. My underhook hand is going to lower its level right behind the butt cheeks, and now I got this single leg. I get my hands locked, and I get a nice lift. All right, this is one of my favorites. It's a misdirection duck under with an underhook. I'm gonna set it up again with that collar tie. He's got the collar tie. This time I'm gonna give him head position. I step to it. I dig the underhook. I step to it over the collar tie. He's got head position, and now I want to capture the wrist on the way up as well. So two things that got to happen here. I'm gonna take a hard step and a fake this way to make him think I'm gonna go that way. And sometimes you actually be able to go all the way through on it. But what I'm trying to do is get back to the underhook side. So when I take that step here, he backs out and comes back towards me. And now I redirect my body. I transfer the weight to my knees and go right here. Now if you want, you can get a nice body lock and take him through.